My name is Graffiti, and would you be surprised to find out that I am mentally ill? What do you mean, no? Yes, I am officially diagnosed with ADHD and have been since I started this new version of my channel. Because I am actually certified in wandering mind syndrome, I get to take a little pill every morning or I can barely function. Now, getting diagnosed was a long and arduous process, meaning it was actually extremely easy and took basically one phone call to set up an appointment and then just going to the appointment. That was it. But when you're suffering from the worst parts of ADHD, even the small things can feel insurmountable at times. I ended up getting diagnosed in my last semester of college because I literally could not drag myself out of bed to go to class anymore, and I kinda wanted to graduate, so I thought, hey, I should probably finally get on that. And my my Adderall, has been my best friend ever since. Why am I telling you this? Well, first, that's a rude thing to ask someone telling you a personal story, but second, because there are other parts of ADHD that I don't really hate. Not being able to do anything, the constant noise in my mind, the self-doubt and anger at myself for not being able to do anything about it, despite my best efforts. But I also get hyperfixations, and those are kind of fun. What are hyperfixations? Well, you know how when you were really little you had a phase where you were absolutely obsessed with dinosaurs? Yeah, I still get that, but it's for Star Wars sometimes. So according to my one Google search on the topic, anyone can get hyperfixations. It's just more common in neurodivergent folk. It's an all-encompassing passion for a subject. Now, they can sometimes go as far as obsession, but for me, it's never really been a bad thing, mostly just something that happens that I often kind of enjoy. Here's how it generally goes for me. One day I'll be watching a YouTube video about Zelda just because I wanted something to watch while I eat, because eating instills no enjoyment in me at all. I have Mr. Adderall to thank for that little trait. So I'm sitting there and then it begins. Suddenly all I want to do is watch Zelda videos, play Zelda games, animate Zelda characters, and every creative idea I have from that moment on has some small portion of it to do with Zelda. I honestly just let it ride and see where it takes me, and generally it lasts about 2 weeks or so before I move on to something else. I thought Mr. Adderall was going to stop my hyperfixations as it stopped basically every other condition of my ADHD, but for some reason it didn't, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Now, it doesn't have to be media specific, sometimes it's more so for a medium. I got heavy into animation earlier this year and definitely want to get back into it. I've gotten hyperfixations on physical media. I got really into owning things I love physically. Yeah. F you, Sony. I've gotten hyperfixations on hats, sweatshirts, plushies, all types of things. And I do enjoy it. It's fun to get into something for a little while and view it from a new perspective. That's my favorite part of it. Often it is a property I've already been into before, and with the hyperfixation, I come at it with a different set of goals in mind. It's less, I really like this thing and want to know more about it, and more, I will, by the end of these 2 weeks, be the foremost expert on all things Beyblade, or so help me, I will choke on them. Does it sound a bit childish when I describe it like this? I mean, yes, but I think people need to be a little more okay with being childish every once in a while. Now, not all the time. I'm strictly against the quirk chungus type of lifestyle. Both writing that and saying that made me want to die, but just take some time to be silly and enjoy a passion with everything you have. Now, with all that being said, getting hyperfixations before I was chronically online was a pretty fun experience of learning and trying to find other people who liked the property as much as I would for the next 2 days. In early middle school, there was this girl who was super heavy into Pokemon. She was the girl I liked at the time, so I decided to deep dive into Pokemon and played my first game, Pokemon Omega Ruby. I played the ever-loving out of that game on my Ruby Red 3DS. All in an effort to get closer to her, but also because I started really liking the game and the property itself. So much so that I committed a cardinal sin. I found out that there was a phone app that you could use to mod Pokemon into Pokemon X and Y, and I used that knowledge for evil. I traded this girl a shiny Mewtwo that I didn't catch. I made him. which to be fair is lore from Mewtwo. I even researched what moves Mewtwo would have and what he would learn so that this fake Pokemon would look as real as possible. I never told her. There's a chance that she still has that Mewtwo after all these years. If you're seeing this, I'm sorry. I failed the sacred oath. I was supposed to catch them all, but all I did was probably catch a virus on my iPhone 5.
So you can kind of see how fun it was back in the day before I was super internet savvy. And by savvy, I mean this rectangular device really likes to take hold of my mind and not let go for hours at a time. The internet has made this significantly less fun. And by the internet, I mean social media. And by social media, I mainly mean Twitter, and I'm not calling it X, it's not a porn site. Well...
So let's step back about 4 weeks, right before I posted for the first time in like 3 years. I, for some reason, I don't remember what the trigger was, got really into Star Wars again. Now, I've always loved Star Wars. It's one of those properties that I will always be fond of since I watched the prequels on TV while sitting with my dad. Yeah, that was my first exposure to Star Wars, and it's why I will always defend Revenge of the Sith. I can't defend the other two though, I've seen them far too recently, I'm sorry. So, getting back into it with a newfound hyper-focus, I found myself digging into parts of lore I've never really been into before. I started looking into Legends because it's a part of Star Wars I'm still not very familiar with. Now, I will say that I kinda think that's by design of Disney, but that's a video for another day. I was very close to ordering the Thrawn trilogy on Amazon, but where I really started getting into it was the games. Now, not just the ones based in the Legends canon, but the current Disney canon. I loved Jedi Fallen Order, but I found myself bouncing off of Jedi Survivor. I now know why. It's because Jedha is the worst designed planet in any Star Wars game ever. But coming back, I did start to enjoy myself. I played a bit of Knights of the Old Republic MMO, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Knight, and was really enjoying my time reinserting myself in the galaxy far, far away. Where am I going with this? In the original version of this script, I say hopefully I'm going inside soon because of the mosquitoes, but I tried doing this part outside, and it was a f***ing disaster. There's so many bugs. Oh my gosh, this is a horrible idea. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm just in my room. Well, social media algorithms are very smart, and they are also all connected, no matter what they try to tell us. So, as I'm looking for a walkthrough of Jedha so I can go back to a planet that isn't the worst thing imaginable, YouTube catches on that I'm on a Star Wars kick. And then, so does Twitter. And then Instagram. And then, they all pounce.
Whoa, hold on there, sir. Can you believe this guy thinks he's gonna be famous one day? Hello everyone, I am Spunk Bagunkley, stepping in here to tell you about Graffiti's Patreon. See, making these extravagant masterpieces of videos is hard work for our boy, and with only 100 subscribers and $10 whole to his name, it can become quite stressful. That's where you come in, loyal viewer. For $5 a month, you can subscribe to Graffiti's Patreon, where you can get awesome perks such as your name in the credits, polls for which video comes next, and maybe some bloopers possibly. He's a little self-conscious about posting bloopers because he records by himself and it's kinda depressing. Anyway, go to patreon.com/GryffitiCan'tLose or follow the link in the description to join. Now to fold myself back into a piece of paper and let you go back to the video.
All of a sudden, my feed gets flooded with Star Wars content. Announcements, news, clips, all of it. And for the first day of this, it's pretty fun. I'm seeing new things about the 2 Star Wars games I thought got canceled. I'm seeing some of my favorite clips of the series, and all the while getting to see the Star Wars community. A community that seems to be in pretty good spirits, rally around a property and a galaxy that they love so much. And then, Day 2 happened.
See, social media platforms have learned something that is a horrible truth that they will use to keep all of us exactly where they want us. If you are mad, you will spend far more time in their apps, like an insane disproportionate amount of time. I can't say the word disproportionate. I'm leaving it in. Fuck it. In 2021, a Facebook data scientist turned whistleblower would reveal that Facebook will disproportionately recommend and boost divisive or anger-inducing content because they noticed that according to their data, people will spend more time on a post that makes them mad than on one that makes them happy. Instead of taking that information and realizing that this is unhealthy and shouldn't be capitalized on, what do you think they did? And now, most social media algorithms are built with this in mind. If their goal is to keep people on the site for as long as possible, and rage-bait content is how they can do that, they're gonna do it. And do it they do. Within 24 hours of my newfound Star Wars passion, I was hit with the most negative, rude, anger-inducing posts, one after another, after another, after another. It was relentless. And here's the thing, I don't like all of Star Wars. I think the sequel trilogy is woefully misguided and that The Rise of Skywalker is a disaster of epic proportions. I think the Ahsoka show somehow takes one of my favorite characters and sanitizes her into a nothing burger and then takes another through the mischaracterization machine. I think the Obi-Wan show should have been a movie and cut down on a lot of the useless fluff. I think Book of Boba Fett is one of the worst things I've ever seen, and Mandalorian Season 3 takes everything I like about the first two seasons and takes a massive steamy shit on it. But I still like Star Wars a lot, despite people saying that the brand is basically dead. No one will shut up about Andor and his brilliant writing, how Clone Wars expands on the characters we know and love and creates fascinating new ones. The character arcs in Rebels, the creativity of a show like Visions, which is probably the greatest idea Star Wars has had in decades. And I know people don't like The Acolyte, but I kinda did. I thought it was fine. Does that make me a fake fan? I don't know, and frankly, I don't care. Being bombarded with these vitriolic posts made me want to avoid the Star Wars community, which, to be fair, I think broadly speaking, if you like something, it might be best to avoid its Twitter community just for your own sanity. I love this property. Is there a lot I would change? Absolutely, but it's going to be a part of me because the memory of sitting bright-eyed in the living room with my dad is always going to be a part of me. These algorithms are purposely preying on our weakness, and in turn, stealing our time. Time you could have used to talk to a friend about something you love, rather than arguing with strangers about something they don't give a piss about. This has happened countless times for me. Avatar, Sonic, Pokemon, Marvel, RPGs. Quick tangent, I've seen more hate for fans of Expedition 33 than I've seen those fans exhibiting the things these people seem to hate so much. Fans of things are not a monolith and never have been, so why are we trying to make that the case? Expedition 33 is one of my favorite games of all time. I also like other RPGs, so it's not an RPG for gun and ball gamers. Do you not hear with your ears how fucking stupid that sounds? And see, that's what happens. I immediately feel the need to dispel stupidity when both the people posting these things and the platform itself are directly profiting off of my annoyance. It's frustrating, and it's gonna keep happening because it makes them money. And remember, companies will do anything, literally anything, if their earnings go up a single cent. They would kill you if it would make their shareholders happy. And in a way, I think they kinda are killing us. No one, unless they're being paid or have the biggest ego imaginable, wants to hate something. Hating things is not inherently fun. Discussing something you hate can be fun because trying to convince someone to understand your position can be a pretty good time. But that's not the same as pointless arguing. But the funny thing about that is often the result is kind of the same. Me and my sister are very similar people, but we have very strong opinions on certain things, and sometimes those opinions do not align. When they don't, I like to discuss why, because sometimes it's really interesting to see why someone likes something I don't, or why someone doesn't like something that I do. Most of the time by the end of these discussions, or sometimes when they devolve into arguments, sorry Drea, neither of us have changed our position, but what has changed is my understanding of her, and sometimes even my understanding of myself. That last part doesn't really happen with arguments where neither party is willing to listen. I fucking hated Season 1 of Netflix's Avatar remake. I thought it was bad. Eventually I'll make a whole video about it, especially with what I've seen of Season 2 seeming like it's even worse, but my sister liked it. And we have discussed and argued about it numerous times, and each time I learn a little more about what we were both looking to get out of a live-action remake of such a beloved series.
And my hyperfixations are sometimes a big part of that. Yes, I remembered what this video is about. When I get a hyperfixation, I don't just want to know everything about a series. I want to know and understand why people like it, why I like it, what makes it unique as a piece of art, and what has drawn its community to it. Again, it doesn't have to be a media franchise. I was drawn to the notion of owning physical media when I started playing Final Fantasy XII on my PS5, which I bought digitally. I felt weirdly disconnected from the game, which hadn't happened to me before. I think this was one of the first times I was playing an older game on my PS5. Then I bought the physical version for cheap, and suddenly it felt like I owned it, a piece of the history of a franchise I love. And it clicked, and I started wanting to buy the physical versions of the games I love. And it comes at a funny time where I am probably switching exclusively to PC gaming, so what do I do for that? I think I'm going to buy a bunch of flash drives and label them by series. This is true, by the way, and then decorate them using the series iconography and keep the files on them. That way, when I go to play the games, I have to physically plug in a flash drive to play the game. Is it silly? Absolutely. Does it make me feel more connected to these games which have become such a big part of my life for the last 23 years? It absolutely does, and I know it does for other people too.
I've been an introvert since about the 4th grade, so I sometimes use my hyperfixations as a way to gain a better understanding of those around me, because I value nothing more in people, in humanity, than passion. And seeing people come together to be passionate about something is deeply fascinating to me. Social media has used that fascination to poison the well, making me actively avoid interacting with fans of a series because I know all it wants from me is my time, and it will rage bait me and ruin my day a million times for just a few more dollars. So, what is there to do about it? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I know in the other videos I've made like this, I have some sort of solution, but I don't really have one here. I think avoiding the bigger social media for smaller, tight-knit discords could work, but I also don't like advocating for people to join small discords because they scare me.
So I guess my best advice for now is to simply enjoy what you enjoy. And if you find people who connect with it as much as you do, enjoy that, and make sure to let them know. Well, that's another sappy ending for the books. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go rage bait some Dune fans for Twitter money. I think Children of Dune is the best book in the series. I've never even read any of them.